Welcome back to my channel. I am your favorite mother of three, Bougie Vintage, and today's video is another Love is Blind recap. Girl, we are almost at the end. We're almost at the finale. I brought my iPad this time so y'all can see some of the stuff I'm talking about. Hopefully I don't get copyright. If you are new here, hi girl, subscribe to the channel or join my membership. It's always a good time over there. There's probably hundreds of videos for you to catch up on the membership side of things. Okay, the membership is where you get the knit and the grit, okay, where you get all the way up in my business, because on the main channel you get into my business too, but like not like on the membership, girl. You see old videos, old story times that are just, you know, not for public consumption. But let's talk about Love is Blind. In the last episode, obviously what I told you was that Jeremy friggin' cheated on his fiance Laura with Sarah Ann, his other connection. You know, we were left to think about what possibly could have gone on between the two of them, because why are you strolling in the house at 5 o'clock in the damn morning? That is crazy, unacceptable behavior from a fiance, a living boyfriend, a married man, whoever the hell it is. Unacceptable. Kill the lemon grab. Unacceptable. Because of that situation, because he strolled in the house at 5 o'clock in the morning, the next day or whatever, a couple days had passed, girl, I don't know, and he went to go see his mama, and his mama was like, "You lucky it wasn't me." And I said, "I know that's right, mama. You better tell him," because she said if it were her, she would have waited up for him and been like, "Where are you coming from?" And so for me, I feel like Jeremy is trying to minimize the fact that he came in the house mad late. His mom is like, you know, saying, "You told me you love her, which is not normal for you. Like, you know, that's not something you would normally do," and yada, yada, yada. Like, and I'm just like, okay, well, if he loved her, he wouldn't be talking to his past connection. You know, obviously there was feelings still there. This is not a normal thing, a normal way to meet somebody. And so it's understandable when that door gets left open or when that door is not fully closed. When Sarah Ann had messaged Jeremy back when she had left the show, when Jeremy finally got his phone back and saw it and put a heart on it and acknowledged that she said that, that was pretty much an open door. Him and Laura already had their woes about that. You know, she corrected it. She told him exactly how unacceptable that was, you know, that she didn't like it. It was problematic. However, her family was kind of on his side. Like, he didn't message her back. Yes, he acknowledged it, but he didn't message her back. But because of the nature of what was in the message, like, hit me up kind of vibe, if it don't work out kind of thing, like, that's why Laura was so upset. You know, if he just ignored and blocked because, like, you know, I made my decision, that's what it is, I guess we wouldn't really be here right now. He still had feelings for Sarah Ann, of course, because it just ends abruptly. The situation is just not a normal situation to be in. I guess that's what comes with the territory of being on this show. So he meets up with his mom and he's telling his mom about the situation, and she's pretty much giving him advice. The thing about it is Jeremy came home late, and on top of that, he wasn't being forthcoming. He started lying, okay? And so that just adds insult to injury, and that's where he really lost Laura at, because if he came home and was honest from the jump instead of trying to lie and say, oh, he was in the parking lot, yet he actually had driven Sarah Ann home, what do you think's gonna happen, sir? You're not gonna have no fiance no more. But apparently that's what you wanted, because when Sarah Ann gets pressed later on in the episode by AD, Sarah Ann pretty much says that Jeremy said he gonna deal with it, like he was going to leave his fiance. That's how she made it sound, okay? We'll get to that part when we get to that part. What he's telling his mama and what he was telling Laura was not actual factuals, because and she was gonna catch an Uber, and then he was like, well, how far do you live? Sir, no. To me, when he asked her how far she lives, he was trying to set himself up to get some poon on, period. You don't need to drive this heifer home. You is a fiance. Like, what's not clicking, sir? You're a fiance. You don't need to drive your ex home. Y'all was in a whole love triangle. You don't need to drive her home. Men are always going out of their way to do the wrong damn thing. Like, please get it together. And then he gonna sit there and lie to his mom and tell his mom that he told Laura the chain of events that happened. That's not what happened. At least that's not what we saw. Okay, the viewers at home are confused. Jeremy told you these J names are problematic. Okay, listen. So he's telling his mom that he told her the chain of events what happened. No, Laura was in there pressing you and you were there lying to her. She had to pry it out of you where you were. You said you was in the parking lot when really you was over there at Sarah Ann's house talking till the damn sun came up. That ain't right. So why is he sat here telling his mom a completely different story? That's not how it went. You were lying to the woman and that's why she's mad.
You're lucky it wasn't me. Because you wouldn't have just walked in the door. I'd have been sitting there waiting for you.
Period. Sir, it's not about how it looks. It's about how it looks, how it sounds. You was a liar. Okay, like, where did he go with this? You're a liar. One thing we're not doing in 2024 is a liar. Okay, hang it up, flat screen. So next we head over to Amy and Johnny. And Amy and Johnny, I think, are the most likely to actually say yes at the altar, especially after watching the last 2 episodes. I think it's more leaning towards yes. But I have to bring this up because one of y'all were in my comment sections and you said this thing and I said, yes, that's exactly it. Somebody said that Johnny sounds like James Charles to them, and I said, oh my god, yes, that's who he sounds like when this man talks, you just hear James Charles. Now Amy and Johnny, like I said, also are kind of the boring couple of the season. They ain't got much going on. They were the first to be engaged, and you know, their biggest hurdle right now is birth control thing. But by the end of the 2 episodes that we will talk about today, we see that that's really not going to be that much of an issue anymore. Really just something that Amy has to think about if she wants to take it or not, because she just wants to be married to this man now. She has this really healthy relationship with him, and she said it's the healthiest relationship with a man she's ever had. I don't know if that includes her dad or not. I can't remember because her dad is in this episode. I'll go back to her dad in a little bit, but she's really happy with her relationship, how, you know, things have progressed, how things are going, and she wants that to continue, obviously. And so the one issue that came up in the 2 episodes that we watched was the fact that he researched now vasectomy because he was open to it before, but he thought it was a lot more simple than it is, and it's not necessarily always 100% that it can be reversed. And so based on that, we're back to homegirl needs to get on birth control. And so it's not that they don't want to have kids, it's just a right now thing. They both want to have children, but they just financially is not the best thing for them to do right now. So they're leaning more towards not having kids, but I'm very confused still as to why a condom is not an option. I get it. It feels better without it, but child, use a damn condom. To me, that's a happy medium. She don't want birth control. He don't want a vasectomy. Get a condom. You're allergic? Find a different kind of condom to use, child. Okay, like, what are we really doing here? Why is this a topic? Why is this a topic? It's giving excuse, and I don't like that for my good sis Amy. But if that's the least of their problems right now, freaking birth control, I mean, that's a pretty damn good relationship if you ask me. So then we go over and we meet Jimmy's parents. So Jimmy and Chelsea. Y'all already know how I feel about Chelsea. I ain't feeling Chelsea. And I'm not really feeling Jimmy either, but like I was like, we need to rescue this man. So when we meet his parents, they're very country, they just give me rural. Okay, they do. And they've been married for a very long time. Chelsea was very happy to meet them, obviously, right? I think Chelsea fits in lovely with their family. Jimmy's sister asked Chelsea, you know, what makes you think you're ready to be married? Because marriage is hard. She said she's been married for only 3 years, not as long as her parents, of course, but it's hard. Chelsea starts lying through her damn teeth. Okay, lying. She's just a liar. She is a liar. She starts lying through her damn teeth and says that they have great communication. No, the hell you don't. Are we watching the same show? Is she participating in the show that I am watching? Because where do they have great communication? They are bickering always. She is super needy, super clingy, cries excessively. The only communication they have is generally when they are fighting. And so Jimmy says that, like, you know, we've had a few fights, but no deal breakers. Not yet, child. And so she cuts him off pretty much and is like, no, they weren't fights and tries to minimize it to conversations. Baby, y'all was fighting, okay? He left the crib. Like, you were threatening to leave the crib. He left the crib. You got upset, tried to fight him the next morning when he came in. Those are not conflicts, baby. Y'all is, y'all are combative. Y'all are not getting along in that sense. You guys are having serious disagreements, and they really are showing red flags and toxic behavior in both of them, I would say. More so her, but like in both of them. I am very beside myself when she says that they have great communication.
Yeah. It's hard. Yeah. We communicate so well.
We've had a couple fights, but it hasn't been any deal breakers.
Yes, it has.
I think they've been fights. They've just been, conversations, and I'm so grateful that we had a conflict.
Girl.
See how we.
And he looking at her like, Jimmy is looking at her like, oh, you've lost the plot, my girl, because what are you saying? They haven't been fights. Yes, they have. Okay, so my opinion, after watching this scene with the parents, my opinion is that Jimmy is very caught up in the amount of love that Chelsea offers him, that he's ignoring all the bad things that she does. Cognitive dissonance. So pretty much all the toxic behavior is dismissed from his brain because he's not been able to be with somebody prior to her that has offered him the level of reassurance that she gives, because obviously she's somebody that constantly needs reassurance. And so now Jimmy is like, finally, this is what I'm looking for, but she also comes with a whole bunch of downsides. He's been single for 2 years, and he's so desperate to find what he's been looking for, because he did state, like, he's very intentional when he dates to marry, which means that his last relationship at 25, or from 23 to 25, that relationship obviously was with somebody that he thought he would marry and didn't get to marry them. And so now he wants to get back in that bag again. He wants to be with somebody. He longs to be with somebody, and he didn't get that in his last relationship, and now he is trying to, he's getting it from Chelsea, but there's a lot of downsides, like I said, and so he's trying to ignore that, look past those things, because he's so desperate to be with someone, instead of just staying single a little bit longer and being with the person that God intends him to be with, because when you're about to find your person, child, the counterfeit's gonna swoop in now, okay? When God is about to send you your person, the counterfeits will come, and Chelsea a counterfeit, period. With this situation, I feel like because he has the idea of what he wants in his head, and he's not willing to let that idea go, he's going to keep pushing and forgiving Chelsea over and over again because he just wants it so badly. So it doesn't matter that she's breathing down his neck about certain things, or she's super intense or clingy, as he had put it, or she wants to fight him for this, that, and the third, and she does too much. He don't care about none of that, because at the end of the day, it just shows how much she loves him, which I don't think that this is a healthy version of love. I don't. When we get deeper into the episode, we see some things, okay, with these two. So, child, it got real messy. It did. It got real messy. So we're going to come back. We're going to circle back to them. But his parents absolutely love Chelsea. They told her she got a good soul and everything, okay? I know I say on here that, like, I can't stand this lady. I can see through the manipulation and all these things. But she does have good sides. Everybody does, okay? Everybody has their good sides and their bad sides. To me, Chelsea is somebody that needs to go to therapy and work out those kinks and then be in a relationship. She's not ready for a relationship, and I don't think Jimmy is ready for a relationship either, and that's our biggest problem here. Now, Jimmy's mama is like, she can see the love in Jimmy, okay? She's like, I haven't seen this in anybody else or seen him like this with anybody else. She is convinced that this is a good match for her son. And, she's only seen 2 seconds of the situation, whereas we've been watching it in 4K. And so maybe if she watched the episodes back and then made her decision, she might think a little differently, but she just sees what they're putting out. And when Jimmy is saying we've had fights, and then Chelsea's saying, no, they weren't fights. what's she supposed to think about the woman that her son is bringing home at this point? The last thing I want to talk about is how the husband, so Jimmy's papi, was explaining what he didn't like after 43 years about Jimmy's mom. And I said, child, these people finna end up on Hoarders. I will not be surprised if we get to see Jimmy's mom on Hoarders, because Jimmy's dad sat there and called her a pack rat 3 times. He said that's the only thing he don't like about her, that she's a pack rat, that she's a pack rat, and that she's a pack rat. And I said, nah, she's a hoarder, girl. I'm scared to go to their house. And Chelsea's going to be scared when she walk up in there and this stuff piled to the damn ceiling. Allegedly. Now, I would like to see the inside of their house, because I'm a sucker for a good Hoarders episode. And if that is the case, Jimmy, get your mama some help, because being a pack rat is never good, okay? Jimmy was embarrassed. The mom was like, you son of a, you told my secret on national television. I could see it written on all of their faces. He was not supposed to tell the whole world that the mama was a pack rat. Oh my goodness. So this next part of the episode, we get into AD and my least favorites guy, Clay. Okay, he's actually not, is he my least favorite guy on the show? Hold on, let me think. He might be. He might be. Before Clay shows up, AD is talking to her mom, and she's telling her mom how cute he is, and you know, he's a looker is what she said. So AD starts telling her mom how she has not seen this man since yesterday, okay, since yesterday morning or something like that. And so she's excited to see him because he been MIA. And so she tells her mom that she set up this whole DIY dinner date for them at the crib, you know, this really cute date night for them to do together. And she bought all of his favorite snacks, had everything ready to go, and this man ain't come home. I said, child. The mama gonna say he worked for the Secret Service or something. Cause where are you, Clay? Like, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Do not come on this damn show if you don't have the time slot allotted to do the work. What's going on with these men on the damn show? And the women. And the women. I'm not even gonna put it on just the men. The people are not doing their due diligence. So the marriages are suffering because they're not putting in enough effort to make these things work. Now, we already talked about the issue of Clay going MIA, you know, and I said, what the hell does this man do? And I asked if the man does like Airbnb or something, and sure enough, once Clay gets here, that's exactly what we find out. He does do some of that stuff. On the screen though, whenever he pops up, it says he's like in tech sales. So I am confusion. I don't know what Clay's job title is. If he's doing Airbnb stuff, it's given he's the cleaning crew and he acting like he running the place, okay? I don't freaking know. It's very weird to me that he's not coming home. Like, huh? But AD is sad that she, you know, said it, the stuff is still sitting there where she left it because she thought he was coming home and he wasn't. But I'm just thinking, like, is that not a conversation you have before he goes to work? Like, hey, are you coming home tonight? And he says yes or no, and then you plan the date. Like, were you guys not texting throughout the day? Like, where's the communication? How does this marriage work going forward? It doesn't. And this is why I am team no marriage on these two. Like, they need to not be together. I don't like Clay and his excessive blinking. I don't like his phony way of speaking. I don't like Clay for AD. I don't like AD for Clay. And I don't want them to be together. And quite frankly, it's giving desperate, okay? I want AD to pack it up. When Clay shows up to lunch, he has a new handle. Now, she ain't seen him in 2 days. In my head, I'm gonna think the man been out cheating on me. It's happened before. Okay, niggas come home with a fresh cut. You're like, oh, well, I'll be damned. Because you was looking scraggly when you left the house last time. How you come home and you got a fresh cut and I ain't seen you for a whole 24 hours? What happened, sir? Okay, so he got a fresh cut and she noticed right away, like, oh, I'm telling you, any woman is going to think something's up with that. And he's like, oh yeah, I got it done today. I don't believe him. He had it done before because he took some floozy out on a date. I'm just kidding, allegedly. Not me triggered. Not me triggered. Girl. So he sits down, him and AD talk for 2 seconds, small talk, and then the mom gets right down to it. She's like, what do you do?
What do you do?
I'm in tech sales. Then I have a side business. I do like Airbnb, like rent out apartments, and then also I rent out like boats and jet skis.
You guys go good together.
Obviously, we know AD got into real estate, you know, recently. Ideally, her and Clay go together well because he claims that he's in tech sales, but on the side, he does Airbnb, apartment rentals, and renting out jet skis and stuff. But I'm still confused because what exactly is the business? Does he have a business, or does he work for somebody else that has a business? Does he own the jet skis and is renting them out? Does he own the homes and he's renting them out? Because he's not saying I'm a landlord. So is he just a property manager? Because sir, that's an S5. Okay, the people... Anybody could be a freaking property manager. Are you a property manager, or do you own the Airbnb and you're renting it out? Or are you a part of the Airbnb cleaning crew? I feel like he talks in circles, and I don't like that. I don't like that. I want to know exactly what the freak he does, because what is tech sales? What are you selling? And like I told y'all, if you gave me the money and put it in my hand and said, here's $100 million, I want you to buy this, I'm not buying it. Whatever he's selling, I'm not buying it. Okay, I'm just not. So I want him to be forthcoming and say, this is what I do. This is who I am. This is my business name. This is my LLC. Whatever he got to do, I want him to do it, because I'm not quite understanding what exactly it is that Clay does. And if he is a property manager, or if he is doing Airbnb and stuff, that's all click on a computer, child. Why are you missing in action? If you're a landlord, baby, you're supposed to be at home sitting collecting a check. You're not going door to door to pick up the rent. Why are you not coming home? His job titles do not equate to I need to be out of the house. He's not on a business trip. There's no reason under the face of this earth for this man to not come home. What does the delegation think? What do you guys think? Do you think that he's a liar? Like, because he's confusing me. And one thing about it, confusion comes from the devil now. If he doesn't work for the CIA and he does not travel for business, like he's not going to a different state every other day for business, I am very confused as to why he don't come home. Why he has this lady setting up this whole dinner date, DIY date, got his favorite snack, and he ain't come home to eat them. Oh baby, I'll be pissed. And she over here looking like Boo Boo the Fool, because she's so damn excited to see him. As soon as he came, she's like, hey, hello, like, girl, stand up. And so there was a part of this scene that I really loved, which was when Amber's mom started talking about self-sabotage. And she was like, listen, what we go through as parents, and the things that, mothers and fathers go through, that's our stuff, that's our mess. So you can't take it on and be like, I'm going to mess this up, because that's a negative way of thinking. It is self-sabotage. And so a lot of people do enter marriage with that in mind. I think a lot of people are guilty of that, where we'll be like, okay, well, mom and dad did it this way, so let's try to do it this way. And then you just end up doing it like mom and dad anyway, because there's no handbook, there's no manual for marriage, there's no manual for being a parent, there's nothing like that, right? It's two people actively coming together to decide, this is what we want to do, this is how we're going to make it work. We're not getting along, let's go to counseling. Counseling not working, what's wrong? Let's get a divorce. Like, you know what I mean? There's just so many different avenues that you can take in a marriage and as a parent. And so she's pretty much telling them, or encouraging both of them, not just him, not just her, both of them, like, don't take on what you saw in your parents' marriage and divorce. And, Amber, you don't take on what you saw in, me and your daddy's business. Y'all got your own thing, and you guys will figure out your own way. And I thought that was a really beautiful thing to tell them, despite the fact that I am not Team AD and Clay, okay? It was just good advice in general. I don't know what kind of dust Clay sprinkled, but after the conversation, her mom was Team Clay. Her mom was like, Amber, that's a man. That's a good man, Savannah. And I said, ma'am, y'all is getting fooled. Y'all are getting fooled. I'm not getting fooled, though. I'm not. And then AD is over here now boo-hooing, sobbing. She's like, they all say what I mean. Do you say what I mean? No, girl, I don't. I don't. Maybe her mama do, but I certainly did not, okay?
Like, he's got some substance, but he can't be worried about, like, you can't sit up and worry about divorce, because you're setting yourself up for failure. Wipe your tears away. Don't you dare. Come here.
Let's just take a deep breath, and let's just...
I just think...
Is he not gorgeous?
Well...
AD is caught up on looks, too. And that's what I'm realizing. She's so caught up on the fact that he is a handsome man, right? It's giving, I ain't never been with a baddie before. Like, that's what it's giving to me. He looks cute. He's fine. But, like, he's not fine. When I say he was fine before, I meant, like, he looks fine. As in, he looks okay. But, like, I'm not I'm not gonna be tripping over my feet to get to Clay. You know what I mean? Like, it's not given that. I just don't be trusting Clay. I just don't. And so she's really caught up on looks, and I think that's clouding her judgment. But remember, AD said she is a fix-a-hoe, and I'm not gonna let that go. I'm not. Now, the scary thing is when you introduce your parent to somebody and your parent doesn't automatically not like them, or your parent is like, oh my God, they really are the best thing since sliced damn bread, and your parent can't see, you know, because the person either put on a good front or whatever the case may be, it also furthers your ignoring of red flags. And Clay be putting out them damn red flags. So I don't know what it is with AD, but now her mama in on it, and I can see AD saying yes at the altar and Clay saying no. On the reverse, I can see Clay saying yes and AD saying no, but I don't see them both going to the altar and having the same answer. And then this part right here, this pissed me off royally, because one thing about it, y'all know I be going up for Jesus, okay? Don't swear when you're talking about God. It's just like when Clay was in the damn pods and he had the Bible in his hand and he's there cussing. Sir, matter of fact, it wasn't even his Bible. He borrowed Kenneth's Bible. Like, sir. Or was it Jerome's Bible? He borrowed somebody's Bible, child. AD started talking about walking by faith and not sight. And y'all know me. I am, you know me, child. I'm walking by faith and not sight ever. Okay, I'm blind. All I know is faith. Okay, so this is right here really upset my spirit.
But it's also scary for him too.
We talk about like love is blind, but it's really, are you gonna walk by faith and not sight at this
That's it.
point? Are you gonna walk by fucking faith?
I've never heard you say you're gonna follow somebody.
Child. Then AD says, because her mom's like, I've never heard you say you're gonna follow anybody. AD said, if this man told me to follow him off of a cliff without a parachute, I would do it because I know he gonna catch me. Girl, no, he gonna use you as a landing pad, period. Like, I'm not following no nigga off no cliff and I don't have a parachute. It's not giving that. Because one thing about it is I ain't following nobody but Jesus, and he not Jesus. When your man becomes your God, you end up in problems, and that's on period. Okay, but I'm not about to sit here and preach no word to you now. Don't let your man become your God. The one thing I have to say is I love how her mom spoke life into her. I did. Okay, like I'm AD mama stan. Okay, I love AD's mom. I think she's just the cutest little thing, and she was very wise in what she was speaking. But again, she's on the outside looking in. She's not seeing the episodes, so she don't know what we know. Right? She didn't see Clay have an attitude in the pods and cuss AD out. You know, she didn't see that side. We've seen a lot of sides of Clay. Every parent on this show and everywhere in the world, well, not every parent, child, but most parents, they just want their kids to be happy. And she is going to want her child to be happy. And if her child is expressing happiness and she's seeing a side of her child she's not seen before, obviously it's gonna pique her interest, and she's gonna be supportive of her daughter. This is an unethical way to find a partner, but this is the way that her child has gone about finding a partner, and she's supporting her through that, and that's all she can do as a mama. And pray for the best. If the best happens, the best happens. If the worst happens, well, she gonna be there for her daughter regardless. And so Clay tries to reassure AD that he's chosen her and that he's always going to be there for her, even though the schedules are all messed up and yada, 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 yada. No. To me, I feel like he's manipulating her and grooming her into accepting his absence so that when he gets ready to cheat, because we know that he was going on the cheating conventions with his daddy. Okay, so we know, or so that she knows, when he missing, oh, he's just working. She gonna get comfortable with the idea of he's not around when he has a whole second and third wife. Like, he's setting her up for that, and he's been groomed and taught how to do it because he was going on the infidelity trips and probably keeping secrets from his mama for 24 damn years of his life. AD needs to really protect herself, because this situation right here is just beaming with red flags and sirens. The thing is, he is such a looker to her that she is looking past all the things she needs to be observing. and setting her own self up to get hurt. So we gonna see how this ends, child, but it is what it is. So Johnny met Amy's father. This scene was much like their relationship and very boring. I don't really have anything to talk about with Amy and Johnny and Amy daddy, okay? But her dad is very protective of her, and you know, he obviously loves his daughter down and is very supportive of her. So we love that for Amy. What I find interesting is that Amy has this closeness with her father, but she still struggles in relationships with men. You know, sometimes you see that and sometimes you don't. I think typically if you have a good relationship with your father, you don't necessarily struggle in relationships with men, unless you have a difficult relationship with your mother and, you know, you just have toxic patterns running through your veins. But if you have a close-knit relationship with daddy, 9 times out of 10, you gonna know what you're looking for in a man. Now, if you don't have a close relationship with your father, a lot of times you don't know what to look for in a man. You know what you don't want, but sometimes those things get disguised, right? With Amy, she says that Johnny, her relationship with Johnny, you know, who is far from her physical type and probably emotional type as well, is such a different feeling than when she's been with, you know, the guys that she usually goes for. Okay, so this next tea, baby, was a bombshell, if I ever did see one. So pretty much, Jimmy and Chelsea are having a conversation. And of course, in typical Jimmy and Chelsea fashion, the conversation is gonna veer left. Okay, so they're talking about how, you know, the meeting of the parents was super important, and, you know, he's happy that she's happy and the parents and they love each other and yada, 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 yada. And then for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because the cameras are rolling. I don't know if they told her to talk about what happened this morning. Like, I don't know if they told her to do this to lead the conversation, because that's what happens on reality shows. They will give you a conversation starter. She starts talking about how she was cranky with him in the morning. I guess that was before they went to go meet the parents. And so when she starts talking about how she was cranky, he was like telling her, don't do that. Like, don't be cranky with me. But then she was pretty much saying she had a right to be, so that they could talk about what happened the night before that we did not see. And so Chelsea starts saying, the cameras cut off and then you showered and said you were going out. And he was like, I invited you. You know, I told you come with me. And she is pretty much saying that's not how it went. And he's saying, yes, it is. And I'm just like, oh my God, are you guys really happy or what? Like, like, why are we arguing again? And so I was not prepared for the tea that spilled through this conversation. However, I did have this feeling. So when Jimmy starts saying it was his friend's birthday and, you know, he told her to come, she's like, no, you didn't. They are not agreeing that he asked her. He says, I definitely knew you didn't want to go, but I still asked you anyway, which is typical man fashion. You know, they might ask just to say, I asked you. Okay, so I believe him when he says that he asked her. I do. And so she's like, you did not ask me, but he maintains that he did, and that he knew that she didn't want to go. So then he says, I had one drink, I was gone for like an hour, and I came right back home. What's the problem? And she agrees. And I said, okay, why are we having this conversation then? He went out, had one drink, came home, and after an hour, baby, that's not going out. Okay, going out is strolling into the house at then 5 o'clock in the morning like Mr. Jeremy. Okay, that's what going out is. But Jimmy gave very husbands. Okay, like, oh babe, I'm going out, I'm gonna be back soon, have one drink, I'm coming home. And he actually goes out, has a drink, and comes home. Top tier. Okay, that's good. She agrees that that's exactly what happened, and then still wants to carry on an argument.
I went and had one drink.
You were gone a very short time, so I will give you that. But
it was more of driving.
Girls in the pods said, hey, your man's is out, where are you? That was more embarrassing. That was embarrassing.
I didn't see it.
Apparently, the girls from the pods saw Jimmy out and was like, why aren't you with him? And so she's embarrassed by this, which is so stupid. But she's probably embarrassed because she knows who he's gone out with, which was the girl friends that he had introduced her to in the previous episode. Now, there was 2 girlfriends there. One was like a pretty-ish blonde girl, and the other was a very average-looking lady on the plus size with darker hair. The blonde one, when I looked at her, I said, That's an interesting friend pick. You know what I mean? Just based on my knowledge of men and women and how things may or may not go. I was just side-eyeing like, oh, that's an interesting friend. Like, Jimmy and her actually look like they could be a couple. Okay, cool. You know, but I just dismissed the thought because why would he bring a girl like that to meet Chelsea? Where are the niggas at? You know what I mean? Where's the man? Right? Like, why isn't she meeting his men friends? And then when we get to episode 11, I know exactly why we didn't meet them. But I'm going to tell you guys that tea in a little bit. I'm sat there and I'm watching her tell Jimmy that she's embarrassed because the girls in the pod saw him out and she wasn't with him. She should have been with him. Baby, if he invited you and you said, no, that's on you now. That's not on him. Then he says, I didn't see nobody from the pods there. And she says, I know, but they saw you. And when he asked her who's they, she gave him this look like she's not trying to tell him. I said, is this lady making this up? Is she making this up? Create drama for no reason? Or did she get the information from producers and the producers told her to say that and now she's just out here looking crazy? Because remember, they have to make their show good, right? So if the producers come and tell her a little secret, they know what it's gonna do to her psyche because they've been watching her and observing her for the last however many weeks. They know what to say to trigger her to get the good content that we are all tuning in for at this point, because I'm not tuning in to watch nobody get married at this point. I'm sure none of you guys are either. Like, I'm not tuning in to see if Love is Blind. I already know it's not. Love is not blind. Okay, so I don't need to see them get married. I'm just here to see trash television. Okay, she says it was Mackenzie. Okay, so we do get a name drop despite the fact that she looked like she didn't want to tell him. I can't think back to the pods, so I'm not 100% sure what was said because a lot was happening in them damn pods, and I don't know if they aired this or not, but Jimmy is telling her, listen, girl, in the pods, I told you I like to go out. So I don't know why you're sat here acting confused now, because I told you I like to do like wine or like a cocktail bar or a brewery on a Saturday. You know, that's what I like to do. He's not going out 5 nights a week. Okay. That's not what he's saying. He does like to go out and have a social drink, which to me is normal. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And so she is now saying like, what if that's not what I like to do? I don't like to do that. So pretty much saying like, trying to enforce him staying home with her all the time. I don't think that that's fair. If your partner likes to go out, but you don't, and your partner says, okay, I want to go out 1 night a week, will you come with me so we can go out together, make a date night out of it? I think that's totally fine. Now, if the partner is going out every night of the damn week, that's problematic, okay? Especially if they're not inviting you, but that's not necessarily what we're seeing here. What we're seeing here is her claiming that he lied to her in the pods, telling her that he doesn't do anything, which is not even believable. He's 27. The man is 27. She is 30. It's giving she thinks that she's going to be able to mama him, and that's not where he's not going to allow her to do that. But she's now trying to enforce her lifestyle on him, which is staying home and doing nothing but crying. Okay, she might as well be watching soap operas and just bawling her eyes out when the people die, because I don't understand why she's doing this. So she's there now saying, you lied to me, you lied, and she's calling him a liar when I've been sat up here on YouTube for the last 3 weeks calling her a liar. She is the liar in this damn relationship, not him, child. I don't care. The reason that she's pressing him more than anything, which he actually referred to it as hammering him, is because Mackenzie said, your man is out and why aren't you with him? And sees that he's out with girls. You know what I mean? So obviously that's a tough pill for her to swallow, knowing the information that she knows that we don't yet know. Here she go with the waterworks.
You don't think that I care about you just because I want to go out and like have one drink just to make an appearance for a friend and come right back?
That's not the kind of person I want to be with.
Like what?
That's not the kind of person you are, because it's not the person I want to be with.
Oh!
It's not.
Girl, what's so crazy about this is like you cannot enter into this process and be like, I'm going to change somebody. Like, you can't change somebody. She's like, if that's who you are, I don't want to be with you. Is that who you are? Like, the man had 1 drink, was out for 1 hour, came home, and cuddled you in the bed, and you're upset? What the hell? Let me tell you something. Jessica would have never done this, okay? Jessica would have been out with her man. Girl, Jessica would not have done this, Jimmy, whatever your name is.
Or just the fact that...
I'm interrupting you.
Oop.
girls from the pods are there, and then I find out you're with your girls, that's not cool with me.
If it's offending you that I have girlfriends, then that's whole nother issue.
Who were you with last night?
Oh my God. I'm not going to sit here and talk to you about this.
Girl, it was getting sticky between two. When he threw the blanket off of him and he was like, I'm not going to do this. I was like, uh-oh. What happened? So she starts prying into like, who were you with last night? Because she wants name dropping. I don't know if Jimmy told her that he's going to hang out with his guy friends, but was really going to hang out with the girlfriends. He invited her. So at that point, there is no conversation to be had because you would have seen who I was with and you would have been with us. And on top of that, he says to her, if you have an issue with me having girlfriends, then that's a whole other conversation that we're gonna have to have because they're not going nowhere. Okay, like they're not. So get over yourself. You cannot just come up in my life and undo everything. And I was with him until we went into the house. Until we went into the house and the cat got let out the bag. Now, I had mixed feelings about this because if I tell you something off camera and I only want to talk to you about it off camera to spare not only my feelings but other people's feelings and whatever, because I'm not trying to put everybody's business on Front Street, respect that. That being said, what he told her off camera that she was about to bring up on camera was the fact that he had indeed slept with his girl bestie. Ooh, I said, child, not y'all slept together. What the hell? Which was the feeling I had when I saw how pretty the girl was. I said, that kind of looked like Jimmy would be with her. You know what I mean? I don't see how these two are just friends like that. But I'm gonna mind my black business. And then it comes out later that they had sex. Unless he had sex with other girl. And I'm just making things up, girl. I don't know. But I think it's the prettier girl that he had sex with. This is why she's in her feelings. Because he's out with the girl that he slept with. And now he's pissed off because he's like, I told you something off camera. And I told you why I didn't want to talk about it on camera out of respect for her because he's only had sex with her one time and yada, yada, yada. Like, it was a mistake. They ain't having sex no more. However, I have to be on Chelsea's side with this one because ain't no damn way. Ain't no damn way you and your girl bestie had sex and y'all are still besties and I'm supposed to just sit there and be okay with it. I get it. I just came into the situation, but like, I'm not saying yes at the altar because I really don't feel like I would be secure enough to think that y'all are not still fooling around or y'all go drinking one night and have sex in your car or something. Like, I don't freaking know what's gonna happen with y'all two. You already crossed the line, you know, so anything is possible, and I'm not gonna get into that with no man ever. So she's wrong for bringing it up on camera because he told her off camera and didn't want to talk about it on camera, and she shouldn't have done that. But they put a battery in your back when you're on these damn shows. She probably told somebody in production and production told her to talk about it because, again, drama, rating, YouTube content. So I'm appreciative, okay, of Chelsea for spilling the tea, but I can't respect it because he told you that in confidence. And, you know, he was forthcoming with the information, so I guess she should have felt some sort of security in that. But me personally, I'm not going for it, so I don't blame Chelsea for being upset about it. However, she should have addressed it off camera. But I think in Chelsea's mind, because she probably has an inkling of how they're editing her on the show, especially with the excessive crying and the arguments they keep having, she wants everybody to know why she's pressing him so hard about him going out with these girlfriends, because he's had sex with one of them before. So, you know, you being out with them is crazy, you know, but at the same time, he invited her out. Apparently, when Chelsea was gone out of town, him and the girl was calling and texting and hanging out. And this is what I'm saying. I sat with Chelsea on this. Chelsea, my girl, at this point, and like it's up for Jimmy. Not me flip flopping like a pancake, girl. No, it's up for Jimmy at this point because I've been in that situation before and I don't like it. So, you know what I mean? Like I get it, and I 100% support Chelsea. Her feelings are valid in this. I don't care if I called her every liar in the book and everything, but a child of God. I don't care what I said about the girl before. In this situation, she's not wrong. And maybe y'all got some strong cats, but my cat's not that strong for me to be trusting somebody to that extent. If you have to go and text and call when I'm gone out of town, like literally I've lived through this. If you have to text and call somebody when I'm gone out of town, that's crazy. Because why you wasn't texting and calling while I was in town? What's happening? And then you tell me that you had sex with this person, how am I supposed to feel? So I get Chelsea 100%. She's not wrong, but she is still crazy because they get into this huge blowout and then she talking about some, please don't leave. She's also reiterating to him, you're not single anymore. You can't do this, because maybe when he was single, he could text and call this girl as much as he wanted. For the last 2 years, him and the girl can hang out as much as they want, but now he has a girl. And so this puts puts my eyes back on Jimmy, because there's not a lot of women in the world that are going to accept him and his best friend's little relationship that they got going on. It's not a lot of women in the world that are going to put up with that, and Chelsea's clearly not one of them. If Jimmy wants to be married for real, if he wants to date with intentionality, if he wants to be with somebody, whether it's Chelsea or not, and he wants to be in a serious relationship with them, he's either gonna have to find the person that's gonna accept this relationship he has with the girl that he had sex with, or he's going to have to stay single and find a way to be with the girl that he has sex with, because a lot of women are not going for that relationship. You're going to have to make a choice between your friend that you effed and your lady. You're gonna have to make a choice one way or the other, and the friend is gonna have to understand that, like, listen, I can't have babies with you. I don't want to have babies with you. We tried to have a thing, it didn't work. Now we're not doing it. But any woman that I get with is not gonna be comfortable with it, so I'm gonna have to distance myself from you. I can't hang out with you like how I used to. It's not cool for my partner, and that person's gonna have to respect that. That's just what it is. But see me and see Chelsea, we over here with that. We're not going for it. Now, if it couldn't get any crazier, she starts throw in the fact that Jess was there and he was hanging out with Jess too, and he was like, no, I wasn't. Like, what are you just throwing spaghetti at the wall trying to make it stick, girl? Like, what are you talking about? Like, huh? Jess wasn't there. I've never seen Jess other than the picture that Jeremy showed me, blah 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 blah. And so Chelsea was everywhere with this thing, and this is why I say Chelsea needs therapy. She can't just be throwing spaghetti at the wall and trying to make it stick. She can't. She has to know herself. She needs to go to therapy and find who she is, and then, you know, take better care of herself emotionally so that she can emotionally show up for somebody in a way that's not toxic and not combative. She doesn't know how to meet conflict with reason, if that makes any sense. Let me tell you, this is some good TV. So at this point, Jimmy is cussing her clean out. He's like, girl, like, get it together. First of all, you're drunk, okay? And you're emotional. And she's telling him, like, I don't want to be with you if you want to go out all the time. That's not who I want to be with. Yada, yada. So she's reiterating this fact, right? And he's like, how do you think it makes me feel when you're saying stuff like that? Like, are you serious? This is how you feel for real? Like, you don't want to be with me anymore because of X, Y, and Z? Like, what? You met my family. I literally just brought you to meet my family. Like, what are you talking about? What do you mean you don't want to be with me? And he's like, if you're drunk and you're just saying stuff, okay, fine, and you want to apologize, I'm cool with that. We can work through it. But if you're not, and you are just gonna, you know, this is your story and you're sticking to it, F you too. Because what are you saying to me right now? Like, stop drinking. You didn't had too much to drink. And that's very clear to me because Chelsea is crying every damn time. Okay? And this is clearly a drunken fit. Okay? And so he starts asking her, do you think I'm full of ish? Every time I tell you how I feel about you, every time I tell you that I love you, like, do you think I'm full of it? Like, you think I'm just talking outside of my neck? And she's like, I do. I'm like, this is on freaking real.
Shit, every time I tell you how I feel.
I do. You know what I've given?
If you think I'm full of shit with everything I've told you, I don't care to be with you either.
Ooh! Ate her up. Because what are you talking about, ma'am? You finna lose your man.
You don't think I love you, I don't want to be here.
Ooh.
You don't think I love you?
I don't know.
Okay.
He said it's not gonna work, Chelsea. And he went to the bathroom, girl. And that was it. He was like, I'm done with this. And then she come in there begging him not to leave. Girl, you had opportunity just now. Nothing but space and opportunity to tell him, you know what? Maybe I am too drunk. Let's talk about this tomorrow because I don't even know what I'm saying right now. Child, play dumb. And if you wake up in the morning and you still feel crazy, then do what you need to do. But she didn't apologize, or she didn't say, like, put the conversation down for a bit. She just kept going on and on and on. And, you know, to the point where now he's saying it's done. Now you want to crawl back, diss me, then crawl back? That's crazy. So that's what she did. And I'm just like, they are too toxic for me. I don't like it. I don't love it. I don't want it. I like watching it on TV, but, like, I don't want them to be together because if this is what we're getting now, I can only imagine what their relationship is going to be like down the line. It's just toxic as hell.
Please don't leave.
Please don't leave. Is she crazy?
Stop. Stop. We're talking.
You're ever still on boundaries.
And I said, this is a man that's in therapy, because the man said, you overstepped my boundaries, and walked away. I said, yes, Jimmy, tell her, because she overstepped my damn boundaries too, all this damn crying. Okay, I am over it. But he left. Now, you would think that this means no wedding, it's over, we're done with them. But, of course, we're not. Okay, and that's what's really bothering me about these two, because it's so up and down, it's so unhealthy, it's so unacceptable. Despite the fact that this big blowout happened and they did argue, I don't know if it's by the end of this episode or the next episode, they come back together, girl, and they're pretty much like gonna work it out and work through it. Like, I'm like, oh my God, please give me a break. So back to AD and Clay, and they are filling out their marriage license, and they're also having this conversation about him possibly cheating, or him thinking that cheating is absolutely unacceptable. He don't like it. He don't want that to be associated with him. And he was saying that he was watching Love is Blind, and then he starts comparing himself to the men on the show. Sir, you are not them. They are not you. You are not your parents. They are not you. And so he's having these struggles with his own identity, and it's really bothering me, because it's like, sir, stop watching the damn TV. Like, what? Why are you comparing yourself to the men on the show and saying, like, you know, they seem like they are ready for marriage, or like he's not there yet. Like, he's listening to the things they're saying, and he's realizing that they're not there. And I'm like, why is this man always preparing this woman for a no? Why is he always preparing this woman for a no? And so I don't know if he's just trying to set up AD so that when he does tell her no at the altar, she was expecting it. He's preparing her for the worst by always dropping these little hints like, I don't want to let you down, and I saw my daddy cheating, and you know, cheating is unacceptable. And she's like, is that your concern? Like, are you concerned that you're gonna cheat? Why is that your concern? Like, why are you a pessimist? Like, huh? So he's stressing me, child. And so pretty much AD ends up having to tell him, like, stop watching the damn TV. She's like, I am happy and content with who you are. I like you. I don't need you to pretend to be something you're not, which is a problem, you know, or can be a problem if he's always comparing himself to other people. He can definitely be a freaking mighty morphing damn Power Ranger and decide that he is going to turn into or try to be something that he's not, and then everybody's upset. You know, nobody's gonna win in that situation. He needs to just be himself, but I don't feel like he knows who he is.
I want you to feel like I'm like backing out on you.
I don't want what you've seen on TV. I don't want that. Mm-hmm. I'm so content and so happy with you, and I love everything that comes out of your mouth. Mm-hmm. It might be a little silly, but like, I process it and I come back. I'm not afraid. Mm-hmm.
So I love this conversation because AD definitely knows what she wants. And she pretty much tells him, listen, I don't care if you tell me yes or no at the altar. If you tell me yes, great. We get married, we do the thug thizzle. But if you tell me no, I'm not interested in being no long-term fiance. I committed to this process. I committed to the timelines. We had timelines in the pods. We have timelines leading up to the wedding. And we're going to have the rest of our lives to figure out the rest of our lives. But come decision day, if you say no, don't think that I'm going to be like, okay, let's date. You know, because they're already engaged. It's not like you just become boyfriend and girlfriend on this show and then, you know, have to get married. No, you're engaged. So she don't want to do a year or two, you know, engagement, because that defeats the purpose of the show. You commit to something and you see it through, my boy. Okay. So that's pretty much what she's saying. And I agree with that 100%. Don't sign up for Love is Blind. Don't sign up for Married at First Sight if you are going to try to change the way they do things. That's not fair. Now, if you signed up with the intentions to just leave with a girlfriend, and, you know, the other person signed up with the intentions to just leave with a boyfriend, that's a completely different story. That's a completely different story. But if you signed up to do the process, then do the process how you're supposed to do it, and don't try to cheat the process, because that's not fair to other people that want to do the show for real and are looking for love for real. To me, that's what I'm getting from Clay. He wants a girlfriend, maybe a fiance. He not trying to commit right now because he knows he can't with this work schedule he got and all these other things he got going on. He not trying to do the commitment thing. See, Jimmy is a better man than me because once him and Chelsea get back in the room together and they gonna talk, he pretty much apologizes to her, which has pretty much been the pattern. He's always having to apologize to Chelsea, and this is not good. Like, I don't know if y'all are seeing what I'm seeing. But he is the one offering the olive branch, which is obviously exactly what she wants. Asked him not to leave. Of course, he still left. She knows she was acting damn crazy because that's just what she does. And now he back and talking about he wants a 4-mile damn walk. He wants her. He wants to love her. He wants to call her, be proud to call her his wife. All these things. And so that's why they keep coming back, because Jimmy keeps allowing his boundaries to be crossed. Hey, Jimmy keeps allowing his boundaries to get crossed. And then Chelsea don't have to do nothing to regain his confidence, his trust, his love, nothing. She just got to sit there and pretend to be Megan the Fox. Megan the Fox. Megan Fox. I'll just do sit there and pretend she's Megan Fox. And he come back and he apologizing. She should be apologizing to him. Like, what? What's happening here? So, of course, after Jimmy says his freaking monologue, Chelsea's turn to speak comes, and Chelsea is, like, apologizing to him, but there's a but attached to it. And so when she apologizes to him, she's like, you know, her delivery was wrong and she's sorry for that. But for him to just throw in the towel after, you know, a hard fight, yada, 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 she's upset about that. And baby, I don't know what to do, girl. Jimmy sits up at this point because he's like, oh my God. Every time they argue, it's like this, though. Every single time they argue and he apologizes, she will be like, thanks for apologizing, but there's still an issue here. And it's just like, how do we move on? Because he was like, I forgive you for that. Like, let's move on. Let's, you know, let's push forward. And she's just like, how could you? So then it almost feels like they're always going back to square one. I think she prefers the negative conversation because she must have had a childhood where she got more attention when she lashed out or had negative behaviors versus when she did something positive, because the way that she communicates or the way that she, you know, presses the issue that you would think they could move on from after the fact is crazy to me. Like, I'm just like, okay, let it go. Like, let it go. The man apologized. The man left you and came back, apologized. Girl, you asked him not to leave. He back here now. So I'm not sure what the hell she want. Like, especially because she's the one that started the damn fight. Because if you had an issue with it, for real, when he told you off camera, you should have addressed it off camera. You shouldn't have let it bottle up and wait to then address it on camera. That's really where the issue is. Because if he told her, hey, I had sex with the girl, it was a one-time thing, blah, 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 and at that point she knew it made her uncomfortable to the point where it's going to drag on for years and years to come, she should have been like, you know what? That's a boundary. And I can't allow you to cross that boundary. That is a non-negotiable for me. I can't be with somebody that's been with their best friend. So you're going to have to make a decision between me and her. And I don't really want to give you any ultimatums right now. We is not on the ultimatum. We're on Love is Blind. Okay? So I'm not going to give you an ultimatum. I'm just not going to deal with you because as much as I love you, I don't think I can stomach or process the fact that you've been with this girl and now I have to be in this girl's face all the time and she been with my man. Okay? It's not giving ex-girlfriend. You are still connected to this girl. So I can't do it. That's what the conversation should have been off camera. How she handled it is not good. And now that they're addressing it, she's dragging it out. So I don't know what to make of the situation, but child. Listen, Chelsea is hilarious. Okay? Chelsea is so funny. So Chelsea is like, they pretty much squashed their beef, okay? And Chelsea's like, now, don't be dressing like that around me. Don't be dressing like that. The man is in gray sweats. Everybody knows what gray sweats means. And so he gets up to hug her, baby. So I'm looking for the prince because she's like getting giddy over the damn gray sweats. Baby, I don't see nothing. Let me show you.
I really like those pants.
I love you.
Baby, I thought I was going to the Kinko's factory. Wasn't no Kinko's there, okay? Pretty much fast forward to the last bit of the episode and we are at the mixer and we already know there's drama because Sarah Ann was with Jeremy the other night, and Laura and Jeremy broke up, or they have not spoken since the big fight. So pretty much there's about to be conflict brewing. And so all the girls and all the guys show up, and you know, Trevor cut his hair so he doesn't have a mullet anymore, and that was Chelsea's other connection. And you know, when Chelsea saw Trevor for the first time, she's like, oh my god, like he's like so her type. He's beefy, macho, you know, he doesn't have the mullet anymore, but like he's her type. Okay, Jimmy is not that girl type, which is so funny because the fact that she went so hard trying to get Jimmy because Jimmy was interested in Jessica and she wanted to be chose, and her type was literally on the other side of the door for her baby. This is a prime example of blocking your blessings. Blocking your blessings, because Trevor was so for Chelsea. Like, I think he would probably still be with her right now if she said, you know what, I don't want to be with Jimmy anymore. Give me a try. Okay, I think Trevor would have still been with her. So at this first part of the mixer, we definitely get to see Jessica and Jimmy meet for the first time, and it was mad awkward. And I think Jessica's hilarious, but I love the edit that they've given her. Was super nervous about meeting him and like hugging him, and like, you know, she wasn't sure what the hell was gonna happen on this day. But her and Jimmy went to the side to have a little bit of a chat. I think what I liked most about seeing him and Chelsea interact at the mixer was that Chelsea was totally fine with him talking to Jessica. She knew her man was gonna come home, okay? After all that damn fighting and reassuring that they did, child, they better never fight again. They better live together for 45 damn years like his parents have, because I cannot believe that through all of these things that have happened in their relationship, that they are really just in it for the long haul. Jimmy want that old thing back, okay? Let me tell you, he want that old thing back. So she was giving him advice for like his relationship with Chelsea, because he starts telling her about like their biggest fight or whatever. And she's like, I want you to be good to her. Don't take this as advice from like an ex. And then he looks over her and he's like, are you an ex? And they start smiling at each other like, girl, the flirting, the body language, they still got it real bad for each other. But like, he getting married, child. He's getting married. There is no more them. And to me, Jessica, though she's like super like bubbly and like nervous about meeting him and stuff, and you know, she wasn't sure how the conversation was gonna go, she didn't really come there with like this plot and plan to steal Chelsea man. So I like that though she was sort of flirty, she wasn't gonna cross the boundary how Sarah Ann maybe had crossed the boundary. You know what I mean?
I get nervous around you.
Oh, now you get nervous around her.
I've never dated anybody that's even remotely like you, personality-wise. I just felt really pressured. Honestly, watching Jessica and Jimmy's conversation, I'm like, they should have been together. I'm sorry, Miss Chelsea. You stole the girl's man. They should have been together. Like, watching them just have this short little in-person conversation, I'm like, yeah, they're definitely a better fit. I think they would have had a lot of fun together. Too bad it didn't go that way. Maybe it will in a different dimension, universe, girl, in the Spideyverse. I don't freaking know, but watching that conversation, and she's just so funny. Like, her telling him that she was like practicing how she was gonna shake his hand is hilarious, okay? And I think that their vibe, especially in person, is way more organic than his and Chelsea's. Girl, only time will tell what's gonna happen, but I don't think she's gonna circle the block on him. I don't think that he's gonna circle the block on her either. If they did, I wouldn't be surprised, just because I think that they have great chemistry, and I think that, you know, this conversation is really letting me see like, okay, so this is what was happening in the pods, but now we can see it in 4K in person, and like, they should definitely have been together. He should have never got blindsided by the Megan Fox thing, because this is crazy. But he tells her like she's like the smartest person that he's ever met. I think he tried to keep it real cute. I think Jimmy was in love with Jessica, but he's not gonna say it now out of respect for, you know,
Chelsea. I think Jimmy's gonna say yes at the altar, but I think because of those reasons, he's not gonna try to embarrass his wife on TV further, because she's gonna watch this back, right? If he goes and says to her, I was in love with you too, and I still kind of am, like, he gonna look crazy on TV. So he's playing it real cute when she kind of tried to fish and pry to see how he feels about her truly. But outside of that, he in love with this girl, okay? And now that he's seeing her and how cute she is, I think she's definitely more his style, especially since seeing the girl that he had sex with. And to me, Jessica dodged that bullet, because how more frustrating would it be for her to find something like that out? You know what I mean? When she watches the show back, maybe when we get to the reunion, we'll get to see what her opinion is on that. I would love to know. The beginning of the episode was still the mixer. Sarah Ann shows up to the mixer, and obviously Laura's like, I can't believe she had the audacity to even show up here, like blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, Laura, you don't have a monopoly on the damn Love is Blind franchise, okay? Like, you are not allowed to just be so damn pissed off that the girl didn't show up. Who cares? Like, who cares? I get it, but who cares? She mad that Sarah Ann shows up, and the girls are trying to be supportive of Laura. It's mad awkward for Sarah Ann. So apparently, Chelsea and Trevor have these interactive bracelets. And he still has his and she still has hers, and they're like keying about setting it up. They need to get the app to set it up, and I'm like, this is so messy, but I was living for it. And again, like, their in-person conversation versus Jess's and Jimmy's in-person conversation is letting me know that they picked the wrong people in the pods, and they should have picked the other person. Ugh. They both picked the wrong people. Jimmy should have picked Jess, and she should have picked Trevor. And I'm praying that the universe brings them together, because, child. Then freaking Jeremy and Laura go for a chat, and of course it's drama. Apparently Jeremy tried to send her flowers, and she was like, you're not sending me no flowers. Okay, no thank you. And Jeremy said, you did not politely decline. And she's like, yes I did. And I think he lying, because she said, pull the text up. I could prove it. Pull the text up. And he pretty much deflected, and she starts cussing him out.
I disagree with that.
I said no thank you. And I even
you did not
misspelled
say
it.
you did. Okay.
Pull the text up right now, because I'm fucking tired of you doing this bullshit where you take things and you flip it around to try to make like it's something it's not.
Okay.
You don't know me. I am me.
Clearly.
Bad news bears. There is no salvaging this. This is not a Jimmy and freaking Chelsea situation. It's done, okay? Done. Okay, like, so she was cussing at him. Every other word was the F word, girl. And I was like, Just to fast forward, because like I said, I'm hungry. So just to fast forward, they argue. Things are horrible. And then she goes off, and she crying in the car. Well, she's crying on the side of the thing. But she's upset, and she's hurt, and rightfully so. I don't think it was blown out of proportion. I think he overstepped a boundary, and she decided this is not what I want in a marriage, and that's totally fine. It's better to break it off at the engagement stage than go down the aisle and this happen. You know what I mean? He never closed the door with Sarah Ann, and that's the bottom line. He didn't close the door with Sarah Ann, and to the point where Sarah Ann and him went for a chat, and Sarah Ann is talking about how they're editing her in the show, pretty much saying like she's being made out to look like an asshole because AD pressed her, and AD said, you're wrong for even messaging him. Like, you knew that he was a fiance and you had no right to message him. You know, that's not what this process is about, yada 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 yada. I think AD did too much in the situation. Like, it wasn't really her place to say anything, but I got where she was coming from at the same time. Like, it was just too much animosity. Like, AD was really going up for Laura, when Laura is the same one that said do the bean slap thingy or the bean dip business to your titty, girl. Like, are we really going up for Laura right now? You know, she just kind of felt put on the spot, because I don't think she came to the mixer for that, right? It's not like Laura pulled her to the side and was like, why did you do that? You know what I mean? Because that's a completely different story. Laura's really the only one that has a dog in this fight. She's the only one that has the right to be upset, but AD was going hard for Laura. And I'm just like, AD, as a black person, a black woman at that, you need to be careful how you do things on a damn reality show, because they will be quick to flip the script and edit you to be the damn villain because you pressed Sarah Ann. When AD is pressing Sarah Ann, I think Sarah Ann did a good job of like sticking up for herself and like voicing how she felt in the situation and like giving a timeline of events to say like, I literally sent that message as soon as I freaking left. She was filled with emotions. It's not like time had passed, you know, maybe 5 weeks passed and she messaged him way after the fact. She literally messaged him right after the show, like, nice meeting you type of thing. And he saw it when he saw it and responded to it when he saw it, or acknowledged it when he saw it. That's really not on her. But at the end of the day, he shouldn't have acknowledged it at all. He should have acted like he never saw it, okay? Just delete, you know? So I understand Sarah's position, and I understand why Laura would be frustrated with the situation. And Jeremy, this is his fault. Then when he saw Sarah Ann the other night and decided he gonna drive her home, and they're having these conversations about whether or not he's gonna be with her or not, I think that that's also wrong, because now we're in a different category. Now this is not just when you look the show and your emotions are high. Now this is, you're actively pursuing this man. And she hesitated when AD said, well, how did the conversation go?
Because he told me, he was like, I wish you maybe had have asked me that. He's like, because maybe it would have been different. Shut up.
Jeremy did not want to be with Laura, and that's why he's doing everything to get out of the damn marriage so he can pursue the woman of his dreams, okay, which is Sarah Ann. Sucks for Laura, but them pods make you make crazy decisions apparently, because everybody chose the wrong person this season.
I'm not going to be in a love triangle. It's like, you know, like, at the end of the day, like, you need to figure that out. And he's like, I'm going to, and then we ended it there. What did he tell you? He told me that he's breaking everything off, and I was like, okay.
So the fact of the matter is, Jeremy told Sarah Ann that he was going to break it off with Laura. That was his plan, apparently. Okay, that's what she's alleging. And we have no choice but to believe it, because he came through lying. I mean, what did you think was going to happen, sir? And so I don't feel bad. And then when him and Sarah Ann go to have their little side chat, you know, he's validating her feelings like top to bottom. He's comforting this woman and telling her she not wrong. And then after the fact, it was like, well, what do we do now? And he was like, you want to ride jet skis? And they ride off into the sunset together. I said, I said, this is crazy. Apparently, you should not allow somebody to stop you from being with the man you want to be with. Apparently, that's how it goes. I'm gonna keep my butt single, girl, because I can't handle all this. This is crazy. So him and Sarah Ann get on the jet skis and they go riding off, and then Laura is crying to the camera, telling the camera how hurt she is. And I'm just like, this is horrible. Okay, horrible. AD does indeed state that she is Team Laura. So, you know, she did all that to get information, and she did a good job of getting the information, girl, because we would have never have known that Jeremy told her that he's breaking up with Laura. Okay, nothing else really dramatic happens, but we get to the wedding dresses. And I also want to just quickly state that Chelsea is like unsure about what she's gonna say on the decision day, which I think is really weird. But by the time we get to the wedding dresses, I didn't get that vibe from her. I got the vibe that everybody's saying yes, but that's kind of how they film the show anyway. So as far as the wedding dresses go, I thought Chelsea's dress suited her personality, suited everything about her. I thought that her dress was nice, and I thought that it looked good on her, and you know, it was a very Chelsea dress. I hated AD's dress. I thought that it looked boring and plain, and it didn't even give a wedding dress, and she was like obsessed with the veil more than anything because it said till death do us part. But like, the dress itself was very boring, and I needed my sis to have some beading, some lace, some something, girl. Give me blink, girl, something. The dress was so damn, it was just a white dress. It was just a white dress, girl. She put on 2 dresses, and the first one I was like, absolutely not, because the illusion mesh on the front of the dress was for Caucasian people, and it was not going, and they would not have time to dye it to change it to her skin tone. So I was like, no, please don't choose this dress. And then she changed out of it and put on a different dress, and I was like, still not feeling the dress, and I said, no, but it's not my damn dress. So then I don't even remember the other 2 dresses, girl, but we will see their dresses come next week when they get married. So I'm not even going to show you the rest of their dresses. Now, the last thing I want to touch on is Jimmy's male friends, because of course the men are getting their tuxes, And when I saw Jimmy's friends, girl, I said, this is why Jimmy didn't want his wife to meet his guy friends, because his guy friend was Chelsea's type. He was beefy. He was definitely better looking than Jimmy. And he even had a mullet. I said, that is her type. Of course, he don't want... Jimmy is the ugly friend in the group. And Chelsea is the pretty friend in her group, which is, you know. So, I understand why he never let her meet the guys. Because he's not the cutest friend. He's insecure. Okay? That's why he had her out there meeting the girls from 2 years instead of the guys that he's been friends with for I don't even know how long. But, girl, it all makes perfect sense. Let me show you the guy that I'm talking about real quick.
Here that came up.
Where are you guys from?
There's that one. That's the one right there.
Okay. What do you think about this whole experience for him?
First time he called
That's
me,
the other
FaceTimed
one.
me, and was like, I found somebody. Like, I truly found somebody for me, and I'm just happy for him. Seriously.
Okay.
Nick.
I had my hand.
Now, Jimmy's excuse is that they don't live where they live, where he lives and where Chelsea lives. Girl, I'm not buying it. They could have come, okay? They could have faced something, girl. She could have met the friends. But they don't live around here, so she didn't get to meet them. But that friend right there with the mullet is her, definitely her steez. Anyway, guys, tell me what you think about the last 2 episodes of Love is Blind. I got to pop these nails off and get to editing like my life depends on it. I love y'all so much, and I'll definitely see you in the next one.